Hi there. I want to get you started on making a clay coil mandala, and this is a great project for practicing the coiling technique and making something really beautiful. So first, let me show you what were the finished pieces. This is a design. You can make, and this is another version of it that someone made. But you can really just make your own design. So when you coil, you work with small pieces of clay, so you can break off some of this, a little piece of the red terracotta. And in the studio we work on these wooden boards, so if you have a wooden board at home or a plastic one, a surface that is stable that you can work on. And I just keep a little bit of water handy that I can use to moisten my hands from time to time. And now I had been warming up this little piece here because this terracotta in particular can get dries faster, I noticed, than the white clay. And the other thing is keeping it moist, because coiling involves smaller pieces of clay. They tend to dry out faster and you'll see little cracks. So keeping your fingers moist is really helps to keep the coil moist. So here I have made a coil. I'm not gonna make it too much longer because I want to make sure I'm just touching it all with moist hands to return some of the moisture, making sure it's very pliable, because we're gonna make here the center of the mandala. So you might have noticed it's a little bit cracked because I turned it so much. So I'm just making it wet, and now I just keep it fairly wet. I just curved it to get the start going, the start of the coiling plate or mandala. And in fact, talking about plate, I just took a regular plate that was in the studio and I lined it with saran wrap. And this you can use as the base of your piece. So my first coil I'm just placing in the middle, and now I'm just turning it around. And you might, if you're new to clay and you do this, you might notice that the first thing is just getting used to the material and keeping it at the right moisture level, because if it gets too moist, it's going to be all too soggy to work with. But if it's not moist enough, it won't turn for you and it'll have too many cracks. So here is the first piece. Now, really now you just keep doing it and making your design. So I got another piece here, and I'm going to warm it up. Just kind of squeezing it in my hands. My hands are getting dry, so I am dipping them in water and rubbing them together. And as you may have noticed, that the red clay has a bit of a stain. It stains a surface. It will come off, but it is a little messier than the white clay. Anyway, I think I added a bit too much water and it got slimy. So I'm just going to squeeze it. I made it into a ball and redefined the coil shape, and kind of in the process moistened it. So here I go again. And you know, of course, you can make your coil as thin or as thick as you want. I wouldn't make it any thicker than an inch. That would be the thickest I would recommend. But as far as how thin to go, you can go to a thinness that you can manage. So I'm sort of keeping it in between, and coiling is actually not as easy as it seems, because the clay tends to flatten and you have to kind of round it up again and apply pressure evenly across the surfaces, so that can take some focus. So now I have another piece ready. So I'll bring my plate, and the way I join it is by putting water on both the edges that are going to be joined together, and wherever I left the other piece, that's where I start the new piece. So at this point, I'm just making it, and then I just use my fingers to smooth them together. And you know, you can pretty much start diverting and making different shapes. Oops, see, this piece broke. That's okay. I'm going to actually stick it back and smooth it together and continue working with it. So clay is a material that takes some getting used to, and so please take your time to get to know it. It's really fun to work with, and this is I'm well on my way to creating a mandala. I'm not going to finish this because I think you can keep just going round, or if you get comfortable with it, you can start creating other designs, like in here after the rounds on this edge, there's these curly cues going back and forth, and then another straight line, and just make sure that you use water in between the two coils and squish them together so they join. You can see the water kind of coming out. That's how you know that they're snugly joined. And once you're done working with the plate, just leave it. With your design, leave it on the plate to dry. And the saran wrap is pretty important because it's gonna make it very easy to take it off the plate. Otherwise the clay sticks to the plate and the design can break. And so just keep it on the plate because the plate will act as a keeper for the design, and then you can just bring the whole thing to the studio. It's gonna take a while to dry. It could take anywhere between 2 days to a week, depending on the weather. And there is some paint in the kit that you can go over. That's entirely up to you, or just keep it the color that it is. All right, have fun with your project, and please reach out if you have any questions. Bye. Bye for now.